Yeah, so on spawn you obviously do like normal heal order for Koth, which is like demo, demo again, scout, and then pyro, and then everyone else. Makes sense. Make sure you buff the soldier like around here-ish if you can. Depends where you roll out. Okay, so most rollouts for medic are the same. You go like this, and then you go like this. Or you go left side straight away, in which case you go like this. If you do that though, don't open shutter if the medic hasn't crossed. One thing about that. For you guys, simplest way to play Proplant is you either gonna wanna roll out shutter or you're gonna wanna roll out top right. That's how all the high diffs do it. Teams will also roll out left side, but that is arguably, it is fine, but it's not the best way to play. And I'll get into why in a sec. Proplant in general, right? It's a point with a lot of sniper sidelines. That's it. So you're just gonna die to sniper bunch. So be careful about that. For rollout, let's see. Yes, I'll show the sticky jumps for demo, I guess. Okay, so a shadow rollout, something like this. And then you just jump again from here. And then you're at the shutter and then you're there. Very simple. You can also go like this, jump from here again. It's kind of similar, right? Then another thing you can do, if you're all rolling out bats straight away, is you can either roll out this side straight away, or like this, and then just jump again. And then you're here, and then you just... like that. Something like that, right? You want to put stickies on the roof. Like one sticky on the roof is fine, just because scouts like to rush this roof a lot. So it's nice to have a sticky there sometimes. You don't have to do it every mid, it's just like depending on what you're seeing, right? The thing is, right, if they're playing aggro, you just go play wider with everyone and you start just dicking them. Right, if they go aggro really early because you're playing on bats, you just gotta go meet them and kill them. Because you have high ground, you're probably gonna win the fight. Right, just don't allow them to take the point space for free early on. So for Proplant in general, it's just a mid fight like any Koth, right? So you're gonna be trading picks, doing some shit, doing some plays, seeing what you can get, right? Good stalemate, good not, depends, right? You're not gonna commit until you have like an opening or until someone calls for it, right? If you don't get anything and you still want to go anyways, because you kind of think, yeah, if you can start capping the point, that's good. A good time for that is, you know how the announcer works, right? Yeah, so the announcer will say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the point can now be captured, right? So if you just go on that countdown, then you start getting cap time at the moment you can actually start playing the point. So that's like the moment you should want to play the point. So that's a nice thing to keep in the back of your mind, that is the most optimal time to like just start edge capping. Because of that, you don't want to take too much damage right before that countdown if that's the call your main caller makes. And otherwise it's just like a normal mid fight. You just see if your demo can get a pick, your sniper, whoever can get a pick, see if you lose some players, and then you just fight it. Right? It's not that simple, not that difficult. So one thing, when you roll out this bat side, usually that will be at least demo, heavy, pyro, and like scout soldier even sometimes. Well, the important thing is medic sitting up here is actually bad positioning, because you're either going to be forced really far back, or this corner never play here for longer than like 3 seconds, because this is a death trap. And there's a very simple reason. If you ever get caught sitting in that corner there, and the spy sees that, or someone sees it on the enemy team, they can just sack a bunch of players into this and you're gonna get forced or die, one or the other, right? And the why that works is because you can also send people through under and shit and just start shotgunning you. It's a very bad positioning to play. You're gonna get stabbed here, you're gonna get bombed here, you're gonna get dropped here. Sniper can lock you out from the point. It's not a place to be, okay? If you're setting up on batch, you much rather wanna play like here-ish. But to get back to the mid fight wise, you wanna like usually play around here, a bit more aggro. Like don't peek the sniper side line there, obviously. You play on this right hand side, like in the corner where I told you not to play. But then it's fine to just drop down alone, right? Your team can stay up top and they don't necessarily have to drop down straight away. Because what are they gonna do? Like, if you're sitting here, they jump this roof, your team is right here, they're dicking them, right? So that's fine. They push the point, same shit applies, your team is right here, they're gonna dick them. So you're fine here. So the only thing then is just people rushing under, but you can see that. This is actually a safer place, to, a decently safe place to play as medic. Like, in the moment you see someone under, your team can just drop down and help you. Right, and usually that will be free kills. Because they're gonna go greedy for you, and that's like a nice way to play. So there's a couple ways you can play the mid for flank as well, right? So you could try to get behind them, like you could like do scout, soldier gets buff, and they rush across. If their flank's playing there, their combo's playing there, they can do that. Otherwise you can just spam, you can play under, shit like that. You just keep your heals high until you do a team fight, right? So important thing is you'd fight as a team, right? In the meantime, it's just like kind of standard mid fight situation, right? See what you can get, poke a bit, you know, but don't feed. One important thing I will say, this is true for both mid fights and pushes from right side, which you're gonna be doing a lot, is be careful about this corner here. Always sticky traps here a lot, also stickies will shutter a lot. Be careful about those things. But another thing you gotta realize is that if you all peek this corner close, you're all getting the same spam. Like, they can just spam like this, and you're just all gonna get dicked. So it's actually important that you play a bit wider if you're like a pyro or like a heavy, right? This is a really good heavy spot, but you don't always want to group everyone up there, right? It could be like that as a heavy, you might want to just like stay up here instead, not go close straight away. Or your pyro can do this, right? One or the other can do this, right? And then your sniper can sit here, and then if a spy tries to like uncloak from here and get a stab, then you have a heavy in between him and sniper, right? So when you push, ultimately, you want to put Uber around this corner if you can. It can be fine to Uber earlier, but you don't want to like Uber through this because there's a trap. Like, if there's a trap here, you just clear it and then you start Ubering, okay? You don't want to Uber because of a trap, you want to Uber because they're like playing aggro if you're gonna pop early. Because otherwise you're never gonna catch any kills. And then important Uber targets here are like Pyro, Demo, Scout, and Soldier, right? Those are like the class to Uber. Try to like keep the as minimal amount as possible, right? When you do push into point like that. So this is for instance when they have the point, that's very important that you obviously try to get as good an Uber as you can. The reason why you just take an exchange around this corner is because usually they're mostly grouped up here when they're defending, and your sniper just gets a bunch of space, right? So it's more about your sniper getting picks, your soldier doing some work, like, and if you can dick them with the Uber, that's all the better. But it's actually not you guys who are supposed to do the work, it's the after Uber, it's not the Uber itself. And if the Uber can go deep, do it. The deeper you can get, if they can push them all the way out, that's super nice. If that happens, you could even consider start picking shutter. Like, so that what a lot of the time happens is these dudes decide to back out, basically giving up, and then they're gonna rotate like this, and they're gonna go bats to repush, right? That's usually what a lot of teams do. If you know they're probably doing that, why don't you just send some people to shutter instead of trying to chase them on the right? Only have one guy do that, right? But just have the medic in between the two. You just beam these two, and you just chase the shutter area. You just get the kills on them. You know, you could just fuck the medic if he's leaving like there or something, or there. You can kill him. So that's also basics for right side pushes for now. I'll go over the mid fight shutter now. So when you do a shutter mid, that means you're demo. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I have a question. You said the hold on bats. Like, if the entire team's like, you know, like holding here, like,
yeah,
do
so
I still go over there, or do you want me to like? Would it be better?
Oh,
like...
yeah. So if they drop down, you're like, okay. So one risk that Psychic is getting at here is that once your combo drops down here, right, there is no one able to watch that roof. So if they then put a soldier up top, they could try to kill your medic there, and that's very risky. So what you see teams do is they like leave their NG with a mini here or something watching that roof. I think if the combo plays well, you're not needed, but it's there are situations where you do need to do that. More often than not, you're probably more useful in shutter, right? Just putting a mini there and starting to wrangle the other mini. Because one thing that's really annoying about pushing right side is that mini sentry topper. I'll get into when I talk about defense, but that's like a pain in the butt. Is that what you're getting at? Or is there more?
No. I mean, like, when you say we lose round 1 or whatever, and we call this, oh, everyone rolls up to bats, right? Do I still just do the pocket thing?
No, you roll out lobby, but you can put it here, yeah.
Yeah,
It's up to you, right? But you need someone to watch lobby, right? You can't leave the left side open. Generally speaking, it depends what the exact call is, but it's fine for your flank to play along the left as long as they have buffs, right? In a roll out. But you don't want to leave left open, because what they're gonna start doing is they're gonna send their players behind and you're gonna get sandwiched. And that's what you don't want to happen. So you gotta be careful of that. But yeah, it also depends where they are rolling out, right? So if they're rolling out top left, right, it might be a good idea to also put some of your players on the left to like not allow them to get behind you for free. But also you could just stack right side and go behind them. So it's a bit of a like chessboard thing when it comes to that. That really depends on how the games will be going against the team kind of deal. But yeah, as NG you're flexible. More important, you get like an early tally up and you just start DMing, because your damage is actually pressuring as NG is more important than anything. Just help clean up kills and shit. Like spy check, do more active stuff. You don't have to. Don't be building boy on Proplant in the beginning. That's not a good idea usually. Like besides like the tele and like basic buildings. Don't waste your time on it. You're more important to shotgun. Like NG is actually could have a high impact because you're an extra pair of eyes that your team might need. So I'm gonna hold off with the right side pushing and the right side roll out. Now we're gonna talk about shutter pushes. So the concept with shutter pushes is usually you push shutter, but the people pushing shutter are always at minimum Demo, Scout, and Pyro. That's why you buff those classes first on every rollout, because they're a Power Jack, a Pyro, a Scout, and a Demo are the first class that are ever gonna reach point, especially if you're doing a shutter push. The pro for shutter push is, if they also do shutter push, you could like just pick a DM fight with their Demo and dick them. If your Demo is just better, well, GG. The risk of it is their soldier just insta-bombs your Demo and you lose the fight straight away. So to prevent that, that's why your Scout and Pyro have to go shutter with. So who's then playing with the medic? Because the medic does not want to go shutter, right? And the reason is, if they open that shutter, you open this shutter, the medic comes shutter, you can get sniped, right? Very long sideline. So this sideline is all the way like this. So don't open shutter with medic. Instead, what the medic does is, it depends what you're doing. I think left side is fine here. You can do right side as well, but I think left side is slightly better. And what you do is you have the medic heavy rollout here, with the NG and lobby obviously behind you, and your Scout and soldier are like on bats probably. Or a soldier at least, not Scout obviously. But the important thing is your medic doesn't go out of this gate first. You can afford to delay a bit. You can arrow your Demo from right here if he sits there, if he needs heals badly. Like let's say they take a spam fight, he loses a bunch of heals, he can just go like here, sit here, take an arrow, right? You don't have to walk out for that, he can just do that. So why is that important? Because again, the soldier bomb, if you walk out first before you're heavy, there's no one here, right? Because your players are fighting there, and you're here alone with the heavy right behind you. If you go out first, you could just get insta-kill. So no, never do that, okay? Just keep be a bit vigilant about it as medic. Proplant is the type of map where as a medic, really you should only get one death around. Because it's not hard to survive on this shit. A general concept with just playing a point, you got instant pressure on the point, you can get nice damage out, you make space for your sniper really early on, that kind of stuff. So your sniper might even start picking a really aggro with beam, instead of just playing bat after playing bats for a while or something, or shutter. So that's the pros of that, right? So you have a potential of just killing them straight away. If they play too passive, you just take the space early and you just win. So, and if they then don't take the fight, then you're always gonna win. Like again, if they actually contest you as well, right, you just turn it into a normal mid. Just like any other CoF map.
So if a soldier jumps red roof, the heavy should like shoot him?
Well, yeah, your heavy will roll out top left in a shutter push most of the time. It depends, right? If you can also do a shutter push with the medic rolling out top right? In which case, similar shit applies. Your medic heavy stay up here and the rest goes shutter, kind of deal, right? But then you fall back to the right side instead of the left. There's not that much difference, honestly. So basically, to deny the soldier for the demo, that's why you have the Pyro Scout there, because the Pyro has to reflect that rocket. That's his only job. So what I see a lot of Pyros do as well is they pull out the detonator and then the soldier jumps and then they take 100 damage. Don't do that, just stay on the flamethrower. Just try to maybe cross this ammo, check this ammo kit for a bit of flames, check that ammo kit for a bit of flames, because spies like to cross on these sides of the point, like really early on. Like basically on rollout, they're either gonna go cross here, or they're gonna go under, because that's the only two ways for them to go. So if you're just aware of that as a pyro, you can catch them a lot. By just playing here, pretending you're watching, and then you just suddenly flame this shit and he gets caught and he dies. Because as soon as he's on fire, your demo can just shoot one pipe, he's dead. So any questions about the mid fights?
Is there any reason why you should go with bats instead of shutter or vice versa?
Yes, it's high ground. And it's also it's better if you just want to play your sniper. Right, your medic's a bit safer. You're more flexible from bats. The issue is if you go aggro super early and they punish you, right, they just start spamming you to shit and start sniping you, right, you're just gonna lose players, right? Or your heals are gonna be shit. As soon as they go point, they go shutters and you go top right, you should start dicking them straight away. You don't want to like just sit all the way back here, right? The nice bonus of bats is you have high ground on the point, you can pick your timings, your medic's a bit safer from sniper, shit like that, right? And it's easier to set up bombs from your soldier or something. Basically, you're pressuring one side really hard. That's one of the reasons in the higher diffs, you see a lot more bats rollouts. In the lower diffs where you play, you're gonna see a lot more shutter. Another reason why bats is good is because for you guys, in the lower diffs, teams will roll out top right. And if they do that, you roll out bats, you basically deny them. You have a much better like attacking angle than they do. But yeah, for the reasoning why you don't always want to go shutter, it's you're just gonna get dicked. Like if they know you're gonna go shutter, like they expect it, they can do soldier sacks. Something's gonna die, okay, on your team. Like you might still win, but something's gonna die, right? So it's a bit less consistent. Like if you know how to play it, well, it can be just as good. That's not a difference, right? In the high diffs we use both of them, but that's the answer to that. It's a bit more risky. So any questions about mid fights?
As a demo, do I drop down or do I play bats on the right side?
Well, when you go bats, in the beginning, there's no reason not to just charge stickies, right? So you can just play up here like this. But like at some point, you gotta want to drop down, because otherwise you're never gonna be able to fight. Especially if they're going to this bottom right, you can drop down on your own moment, not straight away. Right, usually right after the initial part of the initial reload, right? So this is your initial reload, and then you drop down. That's what I see a lot of demos do, at least. It depends a bit on what they're doing, right? And what your HP is, whatever. It's just a call you're gonna have to decide on as a team when you do it. It depends where their positioning is. Are they trying to, like, if they're trying to go aggro, like, and you can't just spam them from here, you gotta start meeting them, right? That's fine. Or let's say you were sitting up there, you denied their initial push, right? You're taking heals, right? Do you know they went bottom right? Well, that's when you want to start dropping down, maybe, and start going in, right? Or you do it when you're close to Uber, right? If you think you were healing better than they were, what you could do is you could use in, and then your soldier bombs across and kills the medic. A very important detail is that when you push right side and they're holding there, it's very nice for people to go over roof. Especially soldier scout, and it's fine to flash those players if you're the medic as well. But like the main thing is you want to make sure that the soldier goes in once your team's already peeking, because they need to be looking at the demo, not the soldier, right? The soldier just can't just jump in and die to a heavy, right? So the main point is you're already pushing in, and then the soldier jumps and he can get a kill right before you peek the corner, kind of deal. Right, so it's a timing thing on that, but it's a very important detail that your soldier is involved in the push. Even if it's just sitting on like roof somewhere and just spamming from range, that's fine as well, right? As long as he's involved, okay? Because otherwise you're not going to do enough damage on their combo. There's that question about top right when you drop down. It's basically, it depends, right? It's just gonna be something you're gonna have to get a feel for as a demo. It's mainly to do with where they're playing and how much damage you got on them and how much they got on you. But for sure, you don't want to just on a mid fight. You don't want to. Obviously, you want to cap the point, right? So you're not gonna sit up here for all the time. That's not what you should be doing. Play wide, right? If you're on bats, use the space you have. Okay. If you decide to stay on it, but at some point, not everyone has to drop down. Maybe you drop down, the pyro drop down, the medic drops down, the heavy can stay up, soldier can stay up. That doesn't really matter, right? But as a demo, you're usually one of the first people to drop down. Yeah. Anything else?
For soldier, let's say we do a right-sided rollout. Okay, so I have two choices: either go right with the team or go left for the flank.
Yeah, either way, at the beginning, the call is that you're gonna, unless you want to go for like an early sack or whatever, right? Which you can do with like a whip bomb or something. You whip and you bomb or something. So there's a variation that some jumper mains like to do, which is another thing you could. A soldier you can do a lot, right? The main important thing is that you don't die for no reason. Okay, because you are a very high impact class on this map because of spam. So if you come here, right, Rain, you could like say, hey, buff me early, medic, and so after the demo you get a full buff straight away. You whip, you go here, you do this, and now you're like right here, right, and you're just waiting for them to come in, right, or you could land here, and then you're just waiting for them, or you could land here as well, right. You're faster than their demo rolls out, actually. That jump is faster than their demo if you do it with the whip. So that means you're just gonna dig. You could like do hiding plays and shit like that if you want to be funny. But yeah, in general, you're just gonna be like either with your team or somewhere. Like you could sit here, spam a bit, you know, like sniper. Ooh. Spam like this, or you could just play left lobby, maybe jump this roof, spam a rocket, go back, take an arrow, jump back in, take a fight, win the fight, go back out, take a pack. Oh, now your team wants to push, you come top right because you did just drop down. Now they're pushing, you jump the roof, you dig them. That's kind of your mid, or you like contest them in under or something like that. Or you just sit here somewhere, you just spam rockets here. Or you play Shudder, you spam rockets from here. There's a lot of options. And none of them are necessarily bad. It's very situational where they're playing. And how you want to do it. There's not a singular best way for Soldier, because they can do a lot of things as well. But in general, obviously, it's simple. Playing the roofs is really good for you, right? Or like playing aggro on their side to hold on chokes is really good for you as well, because you can always jump out of the rocket. You can get arrowed from here from your medic on the bottom left and shit like that. So actually another thing, okay, I'll go about defense now, because it kind of goes into defense. So if there's any more questions about mid fights and whatever, say so now.
Is there any funny things to do as sniper? Or is this map boring as fuck? Because I played it like a few times, right? And I've always
You
found
can have your spy open the shutter for you.
Well, that's about it.
Well, you just abuse all the sidelines. There's a lot of them, right? Play very aggro, like peak aggro on bats and shit. Like basically all the time you're just playing here. Not my words, Redlix's word. You just play here. You're gonna be here every time you're attacking. You're playing here, and every time you're defending, you're playing either somewhere on the point, or you're playing back here, or in shutter sometimes. And sometimes you can play here as well when you're defending the point, but it's very situational. It's not that an interesting sniper map. It's not fun.
yeah.
It is very important that you do your job though, because otherwise you're just gonna get rolled. When you cap the point, the setup should be something like this. Scout on the roof. Demo can be there as well. At least you need a player on the roof. I don't really care who it is, but Scout is usually the best. You tank that Scout, you tank that Demo, they get priority heals, your Sniper gets priority heals, okay? So when you're defending the point, the priority heals are Scout, Demo, Sniper, right? Those kind of classes. Your Heavy can suck a dick, you just need to keep him at above 300, right? Right before that you think they're gonna push, right? Then you give him a buff. Heavy, you just gotta keep your crit heals. You're gonna get a buff, you can take some damage then, you take a bit more, but then after that, make sure you have crit heals at some point, right? So don't play super aggro if you don't need to. Right? If they are pushing, your medic's gonna heal you because you're a defensive class. Don't worry about that. Same stuff applies for Pyro. You're kind of just like the spy check reflect boy. You can also play a bit aggressive on the point with your Demo to help him DM a bit, right? Shit like that. So for the passive ult setup, you need a player on the roof. You get your dispenser here, your medic in the dispenser. Don't play in the corner, that's a death trap. Your medic can also play here, right? That's fine as well. If you think they're gonna bomb or you know they're gonna bomb, you play here as medic, because and then you have your heavy in front of you. As a heavy, you can play like here, you can play here, or you can play the corner close when your Demo dies. Thing is, don't want to take heals from your Demo, don't want to take the same spam, same shit of large, right? So try to avoid that, only do that when they're pushing really hard. Pyro, you're like in between everyone, you're kind of the roamy boy. Sniper, you can play like here, and Angie you can play here with the mini sentry, wrangle it. It's fucking annoying, it's super disgusting. You have to usually, if you do it well, they can't push, because they're gonna take 100 damage each time you wrangle the gun. Then Soldier, you're alone on the right side a lot, and you're just setting up crossfires. And you can get help from your Scout and NG from time to time, or your Pyro even. But yeah, you're alone. Which means if they rush you, you call that and you just run. You just go back. You don't care if they have bats. Like that's a misconception a lot of people have. You don't actually care if they have bats, as long as they don't get behind in your lobby. You don't care. So as soon as they try to go through this door, then you need to dig them, right? But that's much easier because this is a choke, and your team can help you, right? Your sniper that was playing here, he can just, oh, they're behind us. Oh, I look like this. I kill them. Oh, I can't see them. Well, look at that. Wow, massive sideline, right? So that's why Proplant fence was a thing. Remember? It's to deny the sniper sideline. It had nothing to do with rotates, it was purely for the sniper sideline on defense. Because this dicks you. Like this dicks an attacking team really hard, because your soldier's gonna get sniped. And then you know soldier down when you're pushing is really bad. Yeah, so Telly, you can put it here, you can put it here, you can put it there, up to you, right? Eureka effect trick, obviously use it. On rollout, no reason not to. Takes like 1 extra second. Doesn't really matter that much. So under, that's kind of like where your soldier, scout, NG, your heavy can play under. You can do some funny flanks from there as well, right? Especially when you're attacking the point, you can do that. That's fine. Be creative with that, right? Play with your soldier a bit as heavy is always good. Like soldier heavy is a very strong combo, obviously. Aggro defense, whenever you can, just play aggro, because if your sniper can play on the point and lock down these angles, he's always gonna just be full scoping this and have the advantage on the enemy sniper. As long as your sniper is not a bot and he just predicts where they are and your team keeps calming it, you're gonna just be having massive shots here. AK, look at a Redlick stream. He's the SDGK sniper, he streams Proplant a couple times, he has some demo reviews in his past broadcast this week. You can just watch a couple of those, you're fine. General idea is, right, if you can just play this corner and spam them, you can spam shutter, you can spam top right. If you just play aggro, well, what are they gonna do? They're gonna bomb? Oh, yeah, sure, they're gonna bomb. Okay, we're doing a sack wave. Whee! Into the oh, the medic's not here. Oh, the medic's playing here. Oh, fuck. Oh, let's bomb him then. Oh wait, yeah, but they're playing aggro, so they see we're gonna bomb. Doesn't matter, we're gonna. Oh, the medic's already out shutter. Oh, shit. You know that's kind of dead, right? So if you play aggro, you have more intel on what they're doing. You know they're gonna bomb before they do it half the time. So if your medic can just play here, only risk is that shutter top right is not really that much of a risk. Someone should be watching it from like, if you're playing aggro, your soldier should probably be playing like here anyways, something like here. So that sniper is not going to be a big issue anyways. It was literally just a shutter sniper and the top left sniper is an issue. And the thing is, like, you have a heavy, a pyro, a demo to body block as well right in front of you, right? You have a scout on the roof still here, or at least you should. Your NG is still there, you know, so you're going to be okay on like snipers and spies. You should at least be, right? Because you have people to deal with that for you. Playing here is fine, right? If you know the sniper's not going to peek there, just do it. And if you think the sniper's peeking, go a bit more passive, but then your team should be focusing to spam him out, and as soon as it happens, you just start peeking again. Like, don't hug this wall too close, because then you can't see bombs. You need to be able to see bombs, so you can dip appropriately, right? Try to serve, shit like that. That's the thing about holding aggro. If you lose a demo or whatever, but you don't get any counter picks, like, obviously, you just go passive hold, like I explained before, the other hold. If you think you're already gonna lose, you just play the medic back here. Like, same shit you do when you think they're gonna do the sack wave because they full Uber this at. You just play your medic passive. The one important thing you need to know is that if you play the medic passive, they can just start edge capping the point because your combo's also not gonna be able to play as aggressive without heals, right? So that's something you gotta keep in mind, that if they start capping point instead of sacking, you need to go back out and meet them with heals. And the heals need to come back in. You can't stay hiding and waiting for a sec. That's never gonna happen. This is kind of the way you also want to go about attacking. Okay, so first things first, what's the Uber situation, right? That's your process of thinking, right? Did we both die? Yes. Do we have slightly better spawns? Okay, we're gonna rush Shudder, right? That's fine. Okay, you can do that, right? Or we're gonna go right side, we're gonna go aggro, right? That's fine. Let's say we lost everyone, they full Uber ad, they have the nice setup. Okay, we're gonna regroup at spawn. I would do it at spawn in that situation, not in lobby. You can do it in lobby or like on bats, but I think regroup at spawn is the surefire way to make sure everyone is buffs. Especially if they wipe y'all. They full Uber this ad, we're just gonna 7-man sack in, and our pyro medic are gonna walk back, or like our NGM medic are gonna walk back, and everyone else is gonna sack. During a sack, engineer play Shudder again, so your sniper can peek aggro. Right, the sniper doesn't have to sack, he just needs to peek aggro during a sack wave, right? Obviously. So why do you repush from right side if they're holding right side? It's very simple. If you look at the point, this is diagonal, and this is like a really short distance, right? This is a really long distance, this is a really short thing. So imagine you're pushing from this side, you have a long way to walk to actually get onto their combo. So it's gonna take you just physically, like it's just a larger distance to cross. They have a lot more opportunity to force your Uber out early. Whereas if you go on the close side, there's much less of that. And they also have worse angles. Because like if you're pushing from here, a sniper can constantly angle you from there and shit. Whereas if you push from either Shudder or top right, you're not gonna have that as much. So a general rule for Proplant is you push whichever side they're holding or Shudder. And the or Shudder has to do with, is their demo dead? Do you have slide player at? Do they have Uber or not? Kind of stuff like that. If you have some advantage that you will only keep for a short time, for instance, you traded a fuck ton of players but they have worse spawns, and you have everyone up at the same time because your spawn wave was good, you can just rush Shudder with a bunch of players. Especially if there's no stickies here, if the demo's dead, and you can just like start DMing them straight away instead of going top right and then dropping down, which is obviously slightly slower and gives them more time. So that's something to think about in those situations. So yeah, now the questions.
Can you do a double bomb from right side? Because that's what I did to like try to get their med.
You mean bomb from right side?
Yeah, like soldier.
Easy way to do it is just from like somewhere here, right? You just wait. Go like this.
Yeah, but is it good or?
It's fine. You have a couple ways to do it. So you could even like set it up all the way back here. Do like a speed bomb. I did it wrong. You get the ID there though. There is another bomb where you go like from back here. You skip over the boxes, right? But those kind of suck. Like you don't have to do something fancy. Like, actually, the less rockets you use, the better, right? Could just go like this. It's more about getting in, you know. It's not that big a deal how you exactly do it. It's more about that it's a good bomb. One thing you could do, right, is instead of bombing from this side, is let's say you were fighting under and now the calls were doing a sack wave. Oh, I was not ready for this, but I'm here. Right, I killed their flank. Well, you could just like bomb along the fucking roof here, right? So you could just like, oh shit, I'm gonna swallow. Okay. Oh, pew pew. Okay, that's fine. They don't have to be anything fancy, okay? Like these bombs. At most, you should be using 2 rockets, because you kind of want to have 3 rockets loaded if you can. The bombing from this right side is generally better, because like if you jump from here, you're in the air straight away. If you jump from here, you can hug this wall closer, which means you're exposed for less amount of time, right? So that's like the only difference. So here you're a little bit less, from this angle you're a bit less exposed. Whereas if you jump straight into them with the pencil jump, well, you're straight into a heavy, right? So that's like the only thing you gotta pay attention. And the other thing is, do you want to go like this, or do you want to go like high, like this? You know, both have their like pros and cons, honestly. I showed you the one earlier from the spawn, which is like a nice one, honestly. It's a nice rod anyways. I like doing that as well, just like whoop, whoop. spam from there, you know. This is fine. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Be creative, honestly. If you want more like this or that, just go watch some Prem demos. Steal what they're doing. That's what I do. So, any questions at all further about the map? Because that's kind of all there is to it. That's it. I have nothing more to add. Like, that's literally it.